What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another Mock Draft Monday. It's Chris. I will be running this one today, and I've got a pretty cool one here. So I wanted to do a situation where, for those of you that pick it like 4 or 5, I wanted to do a situation where Cale Makar is your first pick. And I think it's interesting because like the first 4 should go. So those of you that are picking at 5, you might question like, do I really want to take a defenseman first? Maybe I'd go with a guy like Kaprizov, maybe a guy like Kucherov, for example. Like, what do I do exactly if I go with Cale Makar? So I wanted to kind of like play out the situation, and I think you have a lot of good value. But like first and foremost, I think always make sure that you're using your own kind of projections or your own kind of, whether it's our projections you can get on our Patreon or any other site, but do not use like the 2023 or 2022-23 Yahoo projections. Okay, like just don't do it. It's wrong. Okay, it's not going to give you a good idea of players' value or anything like that. Same thing with the ESPN. So go find a site or go find a set of projections that you're comfortable with and that you agree with, or just do your own. Right? Like you don't always have to follow this, but it should give you just a general idea. And the advantage that you guys should have is some people are going to be following this. So definitely go check out our projections on our Patreon if you're interested in that. But please don't use the Yahoo or the ESPN ones. Hopefully we don't have too many people leave. Like people just love to leave these mock drafts just for like no reason. But we're going to go with Makar as our first pick. Hopefully Huss at 4 here doesn't just snag him. And leave me with McKinnon, because that happened in one of the mock drafts I tried to do earlier, and it just it wasn't a good time. I'm also gonna. Do we want to keep draft sound? We'll keep the sound on. I don't. We'll just lower the volume a little bit, I think, just because it's kind of in the background. So Draisaitl at 1. Now, see, I don't like. That's interesting. Okay, so he did take McKinnon. We'll talk about Draisaitl at 1. Do I think it's justifiable? No. I just think McDavid should be the clear-cut number 1. Like, 44 goals last year, and Draisaitl had, 55? I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but... See, I don't know if I could ever take Draisaitl at 1. I think McDavid should go 1 every single time. But we got our guy. We got Makar. So now what do we want to do? With pick 2, now that we have a defenseman, I'm going to be... Okay, so let's review. Kaprizov at 6, I think is fine. Kucherov at 7, that's probably who I take at 7 if Kaprizov's gone. Those two are pretty interchangeable. One's going to get you more shots and goals. One's going to get you more power play points. Vasi at 8, I think is a good pick. Rantanen at 9, like you're happy with that. Sturkin 10. Huberdeau 11. So as we get into round 2, especially if you're counting, this is just standard Yahoo categories, by the way. So for goalies, it's wins, goals against average, save percentage, shutouts, and then all the 5-player categories. So whenever you have a situation in a draft where 4 goalie categories versus 5-player categories, goalies become so valuable. If it's a little bit more lopsided in terms of like player categories, like say for example we added blocks. We added blocks to this, and we took away something like goals against average, because goals against average and save percentage is pretty similar a lot of the time. So if it's a little bit more lopsided in your guys' leagues, like that'll determine the value of goaltending, right? So you guys got to remember this. So let's look at our pick 2. So who do we got available? Johnny Gaudreau, Mitch Marner, David Pasternak are all guys that I love. In a hits category, my pick 2, if there's not a 100-point player on the board like Gaudreau or Marner, my Gaudreau, Marner, Yossi, Pasta, maybe Sid. I'm a little hesitant with Sid just because I don't think he's a 100-point player anymore, are the guys that I'm taking. If none of these guys are available, my next pick's Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk should be a first or second round pick. A second round pick in any league that counts hits. So I think my pick is going to be Mitch Marner. Marner at 2. I like it a little bit more just because I think that and don't get me wrong, like I'm really high on Johnny Gaudreau this year, and I'm really high on a guy like Patrick Laine this year. But like realistically, Matthews could score 60 goals again, and Marner's going to be the beneficiary to that. And Marner just plays so much. Like his time on ice is ridiculous. He plays penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5. Like he's the number one guy at 5-on-5, or he's the number one guy, that leads the Leafs in ice time a lot of the time, just because he plays in every situation. So I'm very happy with Marner at 2. If Brady falls, I'm taking Brady at 3. Brady at 3 is a steal in any round 3, any league that counts hits. You're taking Brady Tkachuk and you're laughing. So let's just kind of give a nice little review here. I know we're just running through it because the first couple rounds go quickly, but Shesterkin at 10, Huberdeau 11, Tkachuk at 12 is a good pick. He could like Barkov at 13 is fine. JT Miller at 14 is kind of questionable. That might have been an auto draft. I don't know if I think JT Miller is going to hit 90 points again, but he hits, so like it's justifiable. Ovi at 16, that's a great pick, especially because he hits a lot. Fox at 17. Fox over Yossi is interesting. I'm probably taking Yossi over Fox at number 2. Panarin, Crosby, Marner is the guy that I took. Stamkos at 21, solid. Landeskog at 22 is good. Gaudreau at 23, I think, is a steal. Yossi, Pasta, yeah. Pasta might be the best second round value. Like, that's insane to get him that late at 25. Like, he could be top 10 in scoring. He could score 45 goals and have over 300 shots. So I'm hoping I get Brady. If I don't get Brady, I love Timo Meier in bangers leagues. Absolutely love them. He had over 300 shots last year and 162 hits. Like, that's very, very good value. It's just the plus minus that really kills you here. If you're super against plus minus, I'm probably going Jack Eichel. I think Jack Eichel could be top 10 in scoring this year. So I love Jack Eichel here as my third pick, and it gets me a centerman. Kyle Connor's a great pick there as well. I'm probably taking Eichel over Zib. But Brady's available, so we're taking Brady. And that's fine, because I think there's a lot more depth at center than there is at left wing. This is something that you guys have to keep track of as well. And you'll find it's a lot easier once you do a couple more mock drafts to understand how quickly some positions can just evaporate. So in this league setting, I'm taking a goalie next. I want Markstrom or Saros or Otter. I'm taking a goalie. If Jack Eichel's available, that's tough. That's tough if Eichel's available. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's available there, but it's just, again, you guys got to remember that if a goalie hits 4 categories, a lot of them should go in the first 4 or 5 rounds, at least the elite ones. Because if there's only 5 player categories and it's head to head, like goalies could outright win you the league, not just the week, but the league. If it's head to head, especially, which this is. So again, like Sorokin at 30 is interesting. I don't know if I'm taking Sorokin over Markstrom, Saros, Oettinger. I think Saros is going to have a great year again. Markstrom, to me, is the number 3 goalie. He might win the Vezina next year. Just the way that Calgary's built and how good their defense core is. I don't think I'm going to get Markstrom. I might not even, like, Otter and Saros both might be gone. So if that's the case, I'm taking Freddie, who I think is another top 5 goalie in fantasy this year. He just, like, Carolina is just so good defensively. So I would reach on Freddie probably. If those 3 goalies went, I'm okay with reaching it on Freddie, because again, like, if 4 categories against 5 player categories, and that's such an important position to get a guy that has good volume as well. So I think Bobby's auto drafting, so I think Eichel's going to go, unfortunately. Markstrom went at 34. John Carlson's a little high there. Same with Mark Stone. Like, I don't like either of those picks. Kane's good value. Kane's great value at 36, especially if he gets traded. DeBrincat, I think, is, again, like, just an unbelievable player. That's a great pick there at 37. You just got to kind of watch the plus minus. We don't know how Ottawa's going to be. J-Rob at 41 is interesting. Quinn Hughes at 42 as well. So I know we have McCarr, but we kind of got to keep an eye on the defenseman because the defenseman goes so fast. So I think Eichel's getting auto-drafted unless my projection's wrong. Or it's just like a different... Okay, so Eichel went. So do we want Otter or do we want Saros? So let's go over the pros and cons here. I think Nashville got better. And Saros is just more of a safer option for me. And he gets so much volume, guys. Like, volume is so important for a starting goaltender. And, like, he's just an unbelievable goalie. So I'm going with Saros. So for pick 5, I'd be very happy with Moritz Seider. We do need a center. I think Elias Pettersson's a great pick here. I don't like Malkin. I don't like... Kuznetsov. Kadri, not as much as well. So there's not. Philip Forsberg is a really good pick here, I think, because, again, high shot volume and hits, right? We want players that hit every category. So that's always important as well. There's some players that are just like elite scorers, or there's some players that just like hit a lot, but it's very rare to find players that have like good category coverage across the entire board. So Saros, I might even go goalie here. If Jake Ottinger's available, I might go goalie. He just went. Okay. They're listening, guys. Freddie's there though. I'm taking Freddie. If he's available, and then that just solidifies my goaltending. And that, honestly, it could lock me 4 categories every week. Like, I don't think Freddie should drop here. Like, I think Freddie should be gone at this point. So I'm taking Frederik Andersen, and we have 2 top 5 goalies. Which is actually insane. So the team's looking very good so far. We don't have a center, which is fine. There's a lot of value at center, guys. Like, Tavares is still there. Pettersson. I'm assuming a lot of these guys get taken that I have queued up. But let's not fall behind in terms of defensemen as well, because they are going very quickly. Like, look what just happened. Seider went, Letang, Quinn Hughes. So... yeah, like Morgan Riley, like I would never take Morgan Riley there with Freddie sitting on the board. But again, like let's look at his team. Let's look at Huss's team. So McKinnon, Stamkos, Gensel. He doesn't have a goalie, and I'm very curious as to why he took Morgan Riley, even though he has Elias Lindholm as well. I think he's saying like Stammer at his second left wing, so I'm not entirely sure on that line of thinking, but we probably take a center or a defenseman. There's going to be a lot of value at wing as well, guys. Defense are going to go very fast. So, I think at this point, now that you've kind of filled out your team, you're missing centers, but it's fine. And I think you should honestly probably target a defenseman here. So let's bring up defensemen that are available and see who we like. Mackenzie Weegar, Noah Dobson, Miro Heiskanen, I think at this point is very good. Dougie, if he goes that late, it's very good value. Guys like Jacob Trouba and Bangers Leagues are just unbelievable. Dahlin's, he just went. I was going to say that's a pretty good pick. So I think Mackenzie Weegar would be a really good pick here just because it helps us with the hits category as well as, like a 48 or a 44 point defenseman with 200 shots and 180 hits is very solid. I don't know what the time like his time on ice is going to be going into next season or where he's going to play in Calgary, but he should see top 4. So Jack Hughes went. That's unfortunate. So I'm going to take Mackenzie Weegar here as our second defenseman, just to give us a little bit of headroom on D. There's still good centermen like Kadri, Tavares. We don't necessarily have an elite centerman, but that's fine. We can find value. Like Tim Stützle, for example. I think he's going to have a monster year. If you guys listen to 32 Thoughts, the podcast, they were saying how absolutely shredded he is this season. And he pretty much just hinted that he's playing with DeBrincat. So, like, that's very, very good value if that's the case. Over a point per game in the latter half of the season. He talked about in the podcast how he's been working on things like nutrition, his workout regimen, and his sleep as well. Which, like, that's all, like, huge check marks for me, especially as, like, a young talented player like Stützle. I think that's great. That he's just so honed in on reaching an elite level, and that's what you look for. Like, that's what makes elite players elite. Sam Bennett's really good. Scheifele would be a good later pick. I still think he has upside. So we've queued up some centers. So I definitely think we take a center, even though Tavares just went. I'm hesitant with Kadri. You know what, guys? Let's take Kadri. I'm happy with Kadri there. Just, again, I think I was a little hesitant because I don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year. And I'm curious to see, like, how their top 6 is going to play out. I was contemplating getting Alex Pietrangelo, but there's still like Robert Thomas is there, Bergeron's there. I think Kadri's fine, and Calgary should be solid. You know, like it's not a high ceiling pick, but it's a safe pick. I was between him and Norris, and I think that, you know, I just haven't seen enough of Josh Norris yet. So I'd love to get Tim Stützle here. Miro Heiskanen's going to be available later. We're chilling on goaltenders. Scheifele went. Okay, Petro went. Yeah, see how quickly defensemen are going? Like Trouba there, I think, is honestly like a great pick, especially in the league that counts hits. Shea Theodore. So I'm going Tim Stützle. I really like him this year, guys. I think he's just going to have a monster year. Kemper, that's fine. So here, I think, and he's center left wing as well. Like, dual position players are actually so so important. It just allows so much flexibility with your team. If we can get Miro Heiskanen as well, that's huge. That's huge because Miro Heiskanen could be a top 10 D next year. I love Miro next year, guys. Like, he's just going to see so much power play time. Dougie Hamilton. I was about to pin him. He's very good. Werenski. I don't know if I'm taking Werenski over Miro. Werenski probably has a higher, is a little more safe of a pick. Burns, that's a good pick too. I like that because I think his shot volume is just going to go back to being nuts this year in Carolina. And he could be power play 1. So, like, that's good value as well. He's going to play a lot there. But, you know, if I get Miro Heiskanen here, I'm very happy. And I do, thankfully. Thomas Chabot at 100 is very good as well. So, you know, I didn't even see Chabot, which is kind of kind of concerning on my end. All right, let's keep going here. Lucas Raymond. I think Brock Besser is going to have a good year. Nuge is very underrated this year. I think he's dropping a bunch, and he's a power play machine. Just because he plays with McDavid Draisaitl on the power play, and he just likes to they just run the show. So we're looking to fill out wingers, a last defense spot, and then maybe we take another Braden Point. Is he out for the season? Torn quadricep, but is expected to be fully healed for Lightning training camp. Well, there you go, guys. Pick 10, Braden Point. That's a joke. That is a joke if I get Braden Point here. I don't think it's going to happen because someone's going to see him, but like that is crazy value. Like, that could be the best pick of the draft. No one sees him right now. Shh, don't tell them, guys. Come on. I want him. I want this pick so bad. Oh, our team's going to be unbelievable if we get Braden Point. Like, I wouldn't have taken Kadri if I knew Braden Point was available. Byram, Kyrou. Then this is, again, guys, this is why you don't go based off of, like, this projection right here. Right? Like, it's saying he's injured. But, like, you do your research on the guy and you know he's, like, expected to be ready for training. Even if he misses the first month of the season, this is still an unbelievable pick. Like, where is... Brad Marchand. He's out long term, but again... Oh, no, he went! No! I was so excited. I was actually so excited. Oh, I'm sad now. Oh no. Okay. Well, you know, it happens. It happens. All right, Klingberg, Samsonov. Let's take a quick peek at defensemen, see if there's anything we like. I think we can wait on D. It's getting pretty thin, but Tony DeAngelo on Philly, I don't really like. Honestly, guys, I'm taking Patrice Bergeron here. I also think that's a really good pick. And I think, like, they could be the best line hockey again. Yes, like, they're missing Marchand for a little bit to start the season. I think it's only... Sorry, I think it's only... Let's look it up, actually. Brad Marchand injury. Successfully underwent surgery on May 27th. Recovery time is approximately 6 months. We'll miss the first 2 months. Okay. So, like, the first 2 months, sure. Did he go? Did someone take him? No. Again, insane value if you get Marchand at this point. Like, yes, he misses the first couple months of the season, but you just put him on LTIR and then you pick up a player, like a late round player. So we'll go through that situation at the end, guys. But I'm probably taking Brad Marchand here, unless there's a defenseman that I really like that's available, and that'll just fill us out. But there's still some good wingers available, as there always is, like later, like Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond's good. Who else do we have? Michael Bunting's good late value. So let's just take a look. Is there a massive hit player? Is Gudis, Pionk? I think Pionk is really good value. Like, really good value here. Just because, like, 185 hits last season. I'm very happy with Pionk here. Hanifin. Yeah, that's fine. It was either between Pionk and Sergachev. I think that I just prefer Pionk because he's probably getting power play one time, and Sergachev wouldn't get power play one time. I'm going to queue up Chikrin as well. Erik Karlsson, somebody who's just going to see more minutes now, and I don't know how I feel about that. Just because like he's not getting any younger, you know. But Gudas, I was thinking Gudas just because like 355 hits last season, and he could just outright win you that category. So I'm going to leave him pinned. So let's do a quick little analysis on the team. Is Marchand still available? We take Marchand next pick. That leaves us Lucas Raymond with the next one, who I think, again, is like just a good pick. How are we on hits? We have Brady. We have Uyghur. We got Pionk for that reason. We want to try... Is Tanner Jeannot still available? So we could slot Stützle at left wing and take Sam Bennett here, because I think that's good value, and he helps out a lot with hits, which is probably what I'd end up doing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So the hypothetical is that we have Kadri, Bergeron, Bennett as our three centers that we can kind of rotate through. Stützle comes in at left wing and plays there as well, who honestly, like, Timmy actually hits quite a bit as well. Like, he had 125 hits last season, which is, like, quite a bit. And you wouldn't expect it from that guy. So I'm okay having an extra centerman here, which is fine. Again, like, and it's good to continue to have good value players, even though that, like, yeah, we're missing a right winger still. Yeah, we have three centermen. Like, I'm okay with having an extra centerman that I can just rotate in. And if it's a good player too, which I think Sam Bennett is, especially in this league where it counts hits. But we should take a winger. We should take a right winger, and Lucas Raymond would be my guy. Is there anyone else? Alex Tuck. Tanner Jeannot. 318 hits last season. Like, that's great value. Mangiapane. Cole Perfetti could win the Calder. All right, so we're up. Brock Besser's there too. You know, just because of plus minus, I don't want to take Lucas Raymond. So I'm taking Andrew Mangiapane here, who I think is like he could score 40 goals playing with Lindholm and Huberdeau. So I absolutely love that pick there. Dual eligible as well, left wing, right wing. You're gonna see a lot of auto drafts now just because it's the last couple picks. But I'm very happy with this team, guys. We probably in this situation. Because Lucas Raymond just went, I'm going to take Tanner Jeannot again because it counts hits. Like that's 300 hits right there for free. I'm winning hits every week. 100%. And that could just win me every week because I have Saros, Anderson as my goalies. And Bennett. This is a very good team. And Marner. Marner doesn't hit, but like puts up a lot of points. Like Heiskanen, Makar, Marner, Brady, Stützle, they're all gonna like just hit every category. Probably not so much hits, but like it'll be every scoring category, and should be like good plus minus. Like I have a couple sends. We don't know how they're gonna be, but for the most part, I think like a very strong like team plus minus as well, or at least good enough, you know. So let's see, a couple late round picks here. Let's see who's available, who has good value. Michael Bunting. Tomas Hertl should not be here. Tomas Hertl should not be here. He's yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he's available. We're going to pretend that he's not there though. And we're going to take either Seth Jarvis, or is there anyone else that I like? Vrana, maybe? I think Seth Jarvis just because the plus minus, though. So I'm happy with that. Again, left wing, right wing dual eligible. And I might be sneaky here and take a goalie. No, probably not. Saros and Freddie are just like, they're going to, so much volume between the two of them. Like, I'd be okay with 2 goalies here. So we probably want an extra defenseman. If Radko Gudas is available, which, you know, if the league counts hits, he's probably gone like 5 rounds ago at this point. Yeah. If Gudas is gone, who would I take? Who would I take? Gustav Forsling. Somebody's got to play with Ekblad. Someone's got to play with Ekblad. So Forsling moves up. He had 37 points last season, which is solid for a top 4 defenseman. 150 shots. Doesn't hit quite as much, but Sean Durzi, I also think, is a great pick here as well. But I think he loses out on his power play time when Doughty's back. Tyson Barrie. If you need a power play guy, Tyson Barrie. But again, I think Bouchard takes the first from him. But we're going to go with Radko Gudas here, guys. And our team is actually disgusting. Okay, all right. So let's review. Freddie and Saros in goal is incredible. Like I could win 4 categories every week just between the two of them. And again, the goalie categories are wins, goals against average, save percentage, shutouts. That's what the standard. That's what standard Yahoo is. So I could win all 4 of those categories every week with those 2 guys, realistically, or at least 3. I don't know about the wins necessarily because, like, again, but I think Nashville got better. I think they're going to be a solid team. What else? When it comes to our centermen, we got Kadri, we got Bergeron, and we got Sam Bennett, who, again, like a lot of upside between those guys, but some good floor as well. Like, I think Bergeron has a good floor. I think Kadri has a good floor as well. He's probably not going to repeat the season that he had, right? Like, he probably doesn't get 66 assists next year. And I wonder what Calgary's second line is going to look like, or whether or not they move Lindholm to wing, which I don't think they do. I think they keep him at center. So, like, I'm content with the centers. Obviously, if I had to pick a spot where we're a little bit weakened, I think it's at center. Just compared to, like, other teams, for example, that have the elite guys like Eichel, Matthews, McDavid, right? But we took Makar at 5. And look at our team, right? Like, we have Cale Makar. Miro Heiskanen could be a top 10 D next year if he absolutely goes off, which, like, us at FP, like, 100% believe that he could. So we love that pick this year. Pionk's great because he's seen power play one time in Winnipeg, and he hits. Right, like he had a bad year offensively last year, and I think just all of Winnipeg is going to get better. But 185 hits from a defenseman is solid. Weegar, same thing. I don't know what is. I don't know if he's going to get more time or less time in Calgary, but we'll see. It depends on how they play their D pairs. But again, like 200 shots, 179 hits, like that's very good, and over 40 points. Like I think Rasmus Anderson's power play 1, but Weegar could see power play 2. So next, again, like we got Brady round 3, like that's an unbelievable pick. Like again, guys, I can't reiterate enough. Mike loves him just as much, any league that counts hits, Brady should be gone within the first 2 rounds. He's that good. He's going to be that good. That power play is going to be unbelievable. 30 goals last year. 30 goals. He was almost an 80-point player. That's ridiculous that I got him. Really love how I got Stutzla as well. Like, again, I just think that if he's playing with DeBrincat, then like he could get 70, 80 points easily. And he hits. Like, we're winning the hits category every week. Tanner Jeannot, 318 hits. Thank you very much. 24 goals. Probably doesn't do as well offensively. And I think that with Nino coming in, he probably gets bumped down the lineup a little bit. But again, if he just throws hits a lot of the time, like, that's a player that I can just drop and pick somebody else up. We didn't get Marchand. Yeah, somebody took him. Unfortunate. That would have been great value as well, if he's only missing the first couple months of the season. And then Andrew Mangiapane, like, just great all around. Like, this team's unbelievable. I'm really happy with this team. Seth Jarvis, good value as well. And again, the thing is that, like, there's nobody that's like a plus-minus liability. Maybe the Ottawa guys, just because I don't know how, like, they might just be a really high-event team. But everybody else here is solid. Like, Calgary's going to be very good. I have 2 of them. Toronto should be solid, at least the first line. Nashville should be pretty good this year as well. Like, Jeannot was positive next year, so I don't think they hurt me. Colorado's going to be good. Dallas should be solid. Winnipeg hopefully is better. Winnipeg's really the only one. And then Boston, Florida, Carolina, Florida. So very happy with this team, guys. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight as to what your options are with taking a guy like Makar at 5 and not getting one of those, and just like missing out on like the elite 4 centers and so hopefully that provided you guys with a little bit of insight about how good your team can be in a standard Yahoo. This was a 12-man, I believe. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Mock Draft Monday. I will see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a great week. We've got lots of content coming soon, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And definitely keep up to date with all of the fantasy hockey news on Twitter as well. Don, again, does an unbelievable job keeping you guys up to date with Twitter and everything like that. So definitely give that a follow and check out our Patreon. We have a great amount of premium options for you guys, including projections, instead of using this and waiting on guys like Braden Point in like the 11th or 12th round, who, God, if I had Braden Point, I'd win the league. Yeah. Easy. Like, it's not even a question. Anyways, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the week. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed.